All right, ma'am. So the next question, the next thing is, um, again, ma'am, from my personal experience, I've seen that a lot of the newer therapists have this word associated with them now. This word is queer affirmative. Queer affirmative therapist. Yes. So, and we know that times have changed a lot, and on how we understand gender from the classical way of understanding gender to the modern way. So, ma'am, is there a need to again work on the classical understanding of anima and animus, given the circumstances, how things have changed?
Definitely, there is a change, and I think this change has come in different steps
Hmm.
because already especially in the 1980s, there was a big discussion about gender, especially among female analysts, who were very critical towards Jung's view on, especially on animus. Uh, um, that was there were many female authors like uh, uh, Marianne Woodman, Gino Boland, Sylvia Pereira, many Linda Shears Leonard. There were quite a lot of female analysts who were critical towards Jung's view on animals, especially on Jung's view on animals, but also Jung's general view on gender. Um, Also, although Jung was quite open, he was a man at his time, of course. He was quite open, and he was very open to women, also to women's what women could do, and so but still he was old fashioned in many ways. Um, so that was sort of the first debate that was around the uh, the general concept of animus and anima. Um, I think animus and anima is are very useful concepts, but they should not be used as, for instance, um, if you are a woman who has a good thinking function and is well organized and have a lot of drive, then you will, in classical terms, be called animus possessed.
True.
You will be
Yes.
called you are an animus possessed woman. If you are an emotional man who is close to the feeling, have a lot of relation, you can be called anima
Anima
possessed.
possessed.
And that is a devaluation. That's a negative view of looking at things. If you talk about this possession, and also it's it's although there are more, it seems that there are more women that have feeling as their primary typology, and more men that have thinking
Thinking.
as their primary. There are still a lot of women that have the thinking function on top or high up,
Hmm.
and a lot of men that have, and especially among analysts, there are many analyst men who have a strong feeling function,
Feeling type.
because that, yeah. So this to say that this to gender specify typology, for instance, is old fashioned,
Ha.
and it's not really it's not so helpful. It's better to say also, uh, yeah, I myself had problems because I have thinking high up, and I'm also dynamic, and I'm good organizer, and so I was called animus possessed, and I didn't really like it, and then I protested it, and then my teacher, she was a little bit old, at the teacher there, she said, yeah, but it's not so. Just think that you are thinking with your animus. I said, I don't want to think with my animus. I want to think with myself. I don't want that there is another part of me that's thinking. I want that my ego to be thinking. So anyway, that's a little bit personal, but that was sort of I think that was the first really. Of course, there were also I don't know if that was more in the 90s, but anyway, about the same time, there was also quite a lot about, or a little bit later probably, about with acceptance of homosexuality. Also because Jung was a little bit old-fashioned also with homosexuality, and could saw it often as a mother's problem, and a problem of the mother, the man's binding to his mother. So, and there was also protest against that. That was primarily from some male analysts, and and but then now we have had this much more gender fluidity.
True.
I must say that, and the queer and all that, and I must say it's not. Well, of course, I'm very open to all that, but I don't have much experience in that. Of course, I have worked with I worked with homosexuals because both men and women. I don't think I've worked with any trans persons. I know trans persons also, but I have not worked with trans persons, so I don't know it by myself, But of course, I'm very open to it, and and for me, it doesn't really challenge the Jung theory, but of course now these days it's also controversial with the political situation and
That's
the
true.
statements as there are only two sexes and so it's problematic also, and it's problematic because in some countries it's illegal and you can even be killed, and it's you are put in prison or so of course it's so I'm just happy that I live in a country where there are no these there are not these restrictions. But I would like to mention one thing, and this is the alchemical symbol of the hermaphrodite.
Yes.
I don't know how you say it in English, but the
Yes,
hermaphrodite,
hermaphrodite. Yes. The image of
hermaphrodite,
hermaphrodite. Yes.
because this is the person that is both male and
And female.
female.
Hmm.
Male and female is in alchemy is united,
Hmm.
and Jung was very interested in that symbol, and he saw it both of an early an early image of where things had not been differentiated, but then he also saw it as one of the final images of the total integration in the personality. So he saw it as something very high also. So so I think that is an interesting addition to that, and also opens a window to that.
True.
But it's not
Further to
just
add upon the image of hermaphrodite, ma'am, in Indian culture, we have the image of Ardhanareshwara, which is the image of Lord Shiva as half Shiva and half Parvati. I am assuming it's what I have described is the
yeah,
right one. Yes. So
yeah,
Ardhanareshwara image is quite prevalent in the Indian culture. And yeah, so from what I'm understanding, ma'am, with the changing times and the spirit of the times, I think the understanding of the gender fluidity is something that can be integrated as part of the router training by the individual who belongs to these specific cultures where such things are more accepted or more open. I think that is something
definitely.
that the
Yeah.
router that aspiring Jungian analyst has to integrate in their own work. Yeah.
Mm. Yes, I think I completely agree, and you are so fortunate you have a God that has this already. That's really lovely. So yeah, we don't. I don't think we have a God like that in our in our country. So no, we have only one God, but of course, yeah,
All right,
that's
ma'am.
how
Thank you so much.
she is.
Moving on
Yeah.
to the next
Anyway,
question.